Happy Monday. I hope you guys had a great weekend and your week last week was fantastic as well. So we are getting started on a new week, and that means new goals, new objectives, and I hope today's topic will, if it's not already on your to-do list, it's something that you're going to be adding, and that is paying yourself a reasonable salary. Yay! We all want to get paid, we want to make that money, and that way we can have the life that we've always dreamed of. So, if you don't know who I am, my name is Jayce and I am owner and accountant of Hooked Accounting Services, and I've been in the accounting field for over 6 years now, helping business owners understand their financials, understand their numbers, so that they can live the lives they dreamed of having as a business owner. It's very important to remember those initial dreams and goals we had when we started. So let's go ahead and jump right in and talk about payroll. Should you be paying yourself a payroll? So the first thing that we need to consider is and discuss is your formation as a business. Are you still a Schedule C? Well, Jayce, what is a Schedule C? That's a foreign term to me. That is when you have your business, but you are showing it for tax purposes as a Schedule C on your personal income tax return. Your business does not have its own business tax return. That would mean you are a Schedule C. You have not filed either an S or a C election for your business's corporation. If you are a Schedule C, you cannot report payroll under your business entity. You can take distributions. So if you have money in the business and you can cover your cost as well as pull money out for personal reasons, such as your rent, your living, auto expenses, groceries. If you have money in excess that will not affect the operation of your business, you can take that out as a distribution. I would talk to your tax professional to find out exactly how the distributions are going to affect you tax-wise and how much you should limit yourself to distributions you take out of your business. But make sure you can still cover your business expenses and show a profit there. That is the goal of owning your business, is to be profitable, right? So we want to make sure that's covered, but that is an option for you. If, however, you are a Schedule C, if you are a S corporation or a C corporation, you can process and report payroll, and you should process and report payroll. So let's talk about that a little bit. And if you're not a if you are not a S corporation or C corporation, talk to your tax professional about making that election so that you can show payroll and advance your business into the next phase of its life. So let's say we are an S corporation or a C corporation. We need to be showing payroll. The IRS requires that you show a reasonable payroll for yourself as the business owner because you have skin in the game, right? You're working, you're putting in all these hours, you're doing all the things that you need to do to make sure your business is successful. Why aren't you paying yourself? It's not just for somebody who you hire to help you. You should be taking a payroll or a salary yourself. All right, so we need to make sure that we are thinking about this, we're implementing it, we're making it happen. The whole reason for us to start our business was to provide the lifestyle we want while also servicing our clients to make a difference in their lives. It goes hand in hand. Without you, would you be making that impactful of a difference in your customer's life, in your clients' lives? Think about that. So you can still take distributions with an S or C corporation. The C corporation then becomes dividends. But with an S corporation, you can still take distributions, but the IRS still wants to see you making that reasonable salary to yourself and then taking any additional distributions you may need. But first, we need to be making that salary. We need to be paying ourselves so that we can cover expenses outside of pulling through distributions. So, with that being said, we want to go on and talk about the next step of this, which is how do we determine what is a reasonable salary? Our reasonable salary isn't necessarily going to be what we made as an employee if you were in the corporate world before. Okay? You are now a business owner. You have the expertise, the experience, the knowledge, the know-how to help your clients and also run your business and keep it afloat. So if you were making $15 an hour before you started your business, hopefully you're going to be paying yourself a little bit more than that now, right? We don't want to be paying minimum wage to ourselves. That's not going to be a reasonable salary. So sit down and take some time and think about what is the knowledge that I bring to the table? What expertise do I bring that an employee making minimum wage would not be bringing to the table? What am I contributing to my business? How many hours am I putting into my business every week, every month? Think about those things. What kind of education do you have that qualifies you to do what you do? What was the cost of obtaining that education? So think about some of those things. Write some notes for yourself. And then we're going to GTS. If you don't know what GTS is, it's Google that shit. We're going to put that into Google. We're going to put our profession into Google. We're going to compare it to the list we made of our expertise, of our knowledge, what we're bringing to our business, and see what are others in our situation with like experience and knowledge getting paid. This is going to give us what reasonable salary we should be paying ourselves. Okay, so now we know a reasonable salary that we should be paying. Are you currently paying yourself a salary already? How does that compare to what you just discovered? Are you paying yourself way less than what you just discovered? Then maybe it's time to give yourself a raise. Yes, you can do that as a business owner. You can give yourself a raise. You can pay yourself a bonus at the end of the year. You can still do that as a business owner. You should be doing that as a business owner. You had a great year and you had a good profit and you still have a little bit more in the bank. Give yourself a bonus. Take your family on vacation. Take yourself on vacation. Go and make that purchase of that new car that you've been wanting, if you have the means to do so. So yes, you can still give yourself a raise, you still give yourself a bonus, and you should be doing these things for yourself because you are putting in the work, right? So determine what your reasonable salary is, compare it to what you are or aren't paying yourself right now, and let's start making those changes. We're halfway through the year, so this is important to start deciding now. Also, talk with your accountants and your tax professionals about how much you owed in taxes last year. How is your year comparing to last year? Are you doing better than last year? Are you doing about the same? So how does that compare to the taxes you owed last year? Have you paid anything in towards those taxes for this year? Some of you are still working on filing your 2022 tax returns, which the deadline is quickly approaching, by the way. So we want to make sure that we are still thinking about this year. Even if you're filing for last year, we need to be thinking about this year because, folks, we're approaching August 1st. We're going to be thinking about pumpkins and Christmas trees and turkeys here soon. So we need to be thinking about this year. How are you doing with paying in your taxes so far this year? If you're not, and you're considering doing payroll, this is a great opportunity. You can start paying in your payroll so you're paying yourself a salary, but you also can be paying in toward your federal withholding, which will help decrease that tax bill you have at the end of the year. Who would rather either owe nothing at tax time or very little because they've been paying in federal withholding as they go? There won't be that big, huge tax bill come April 15th or March 15th. It'll be very minimal, too little to nothing because you've been preparing all year. Start doing that now. All right? The time is now. So, we know if we can do payroll, if we're an S Corp or a C Corp, and we know a reasonable salary now. We've considered talking to our accountant about the taxes that we've paid in for 2023. And by the way, if you're a C corporation or if you're a Schedule C, still filing on your personal tax return, you're like, oh, I don't have to worry about federal withholding. No, but you still can pay in estimated tax payments. You still have that tax liability due at the end of the year, so you're not off the hook. Just because you don't file payroll and have federal withholding, you should still be paying your taxes through an estimated tax payment. So again, talk to your tax professional about that. The last thing I want to talk to you about is how do you make payroll for yourselves? What do you have to do? How should you be paying yourself? So here's the key. First of all, make sure either you or you have someone, preferably have someone, because remember, you shouldn't be doing all these things as a business owner. You have enough on your plate. Have someone, whether it be ADP, Paychex, Gusto, myself, I am versed in payroll taxes, or your accountant, do the payroll processing for you. There is a lot involved with payroll taxes, and the IRS does not play with payroll. If you get in bad with the payroll and you're owing taxes and they haven't been remitted, or you're behind, the IRS will never forgive the payroll taxes. That will always be over your head. So make sure that this is done correctly from the start. Have somebody help you process payroll, because there's a lot of deadlines. There's a lot of regulations and forms that have to be filed with payroll. So have somebody help you with this. You can pay yourself as an owner. You can pay yourself annually, which isn't preferred because it's kind of behind the times. Plus, you're supposed to be paying yourself because you're doing the work and you have a life you still have to pay for, right? You still have rent, you still have groceries, you still have to pay for electric. So the minimum that we suggest you paying yourself is quarterly. You can make a quarterly payroll, pay in the payroll taxes every quarter, and that's okay. I mean, you're still keeping yourself out of the red flags of the IRS. Ideally, we'd like to see you paying yourself monthly, if not twice a month. However, you can swing it, whatever's easiest for you. But make sure you have somebody who's helping you file your payroll so it's processed properly, and that all the deadlines are being met. Once you pay yourself, then the clock starts ticking, and when you have to pay in your payroll taxes, then you also have to file at least 2 returns in the state of Florida every quarter, and then at the last quarter, then you have 4 returns in the state of Florida that have to be filed. So that's a lot for you to remember. It's a lot for you to understand and know how to do. So I suggest you have somebody, either ADP, Paychex, myself, your accountant, somebody to help you do this for you, to take care of the deadline so that you don't miss a deadline. You don't have to worry about the deadline. It is done for you. I hope this was helpful, and I hope it gave you a little bit of an insight on what you should be doing in regards to payroll and getting yourself the pay that you deserve. So, if you have any questions regarding this topic or any other topic, feel free to reach out to me. You can drop your questions in the comments. Also, I forgot to mention at the top of this, if you are watching live or watching the replay, let me know what you do, where you're from, and a little bit about yourself so that we can get to know each other in this community. Flash to Cash Tactics is a place for photographers, videographers, and all business industry owners to come in and ask questions, to learn more about their numbers, to learn more about how they can best be helping their business succeed so that you can have the life you wanted as a business owner when you started. I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please feel free to reach out to me anytime. If you want to know more about how you can get your payroll set up for yourself through your business, comment payday in the comments below, and I'll be happy to reach out to you more. I look forward to talking to you guys hopefully soon, if not on Monday of next week for our next topic. And I got some exciting things coming up in the process. So I look forward to talking to you guys, and have a wonderful rest of your day and a great week.